Good morning, Rabotai. Welcome to Breakfast on the Class. Breakfast on the Class today has been dedicated in celebration of Kim Carey's birthday. Congratulations, Kim, to the queen of many, many books. May you be a source of inspiration to continue on this fabulous journey. Happy birthday from your sister Jen and your Habrutas, Grace and Raquel. Beautiful. The learning for this week is dedicated by the Daniel S. Loeb Torah Center. Please join us in promoting and in teaching so much Torah in this community and around the world. Breakfast on the Class is also dedicated for the complete Refuah Shlema of Chana Bat Simafega and Eliashon Bazal Fortuné, in honor and in memory of Sinai Tour and Ibrahim Chosh Bachsh Aleim Shalom, sponsored by their son Maurice Chosh, and dedicated in loving memory of Naftali Gad Alav Shalom L'Nishmat Naftali Ben Le'av and Isan Gad, from his amazing wife Shifra Gad Ad Mea Ve'esrim, his sons Michael and Joe Gad, and daughters Lily, Yishay, and Peggy Dahan. My friends, the cold brew is also dedicated by David E. Ash in honor of you and your substantial capacity to do good today and every day. Okay, let us begin. Also for Refuah Shlema for Shemuel Ben Geraz, and I just want to shout out my daughter as well, Sarah Farhi, for her birthday, which is today. Congratulations. Ad Me'ave Esrim. You should continue to do the amazing work that you're doing in school and the amazing help that you've been around the house. We love you and are very proud of you. Happy birthday. Okay, let us begin. My friends, we read a magnificent introduction to the story of the slavery of the Jewish people in Egypt. Paro comes to his people and he says to his people, Hava Nagila Hava. No, he doesn't say that. He says, Hava nitchakim alo. But I'm sure he wants royalties for the song. Mamzer. Either way, what does he say? Let us outsmart them. He tells the people, let us outsmart these Jews. Because you know what? If there's a war against us, what are these Jews going to do? They're going to join with the enemy, and they're going to drive us out of the land. Now, at this point, how long have the Jewish people been in Egypt for? Over 100 years. They were received in Egypt. They were thankful to Egypt. There's no reason to think that that's what the Jews are going to do. But this idea is a recurrent idea in the cancer that is anti-Semitism. That Jewish people are not loyal. They're not loyal to anyone but themselves. They're not loyal to the country. They're terrible citizens, etc., etc., etc. So my friends, when you look at this story, what do you see? You see, first of all, that this idea of anti-Semitism is old. But how old is anti-Semitism? I love pointing out that it is in the same verse that the Jewish people are first called a people. They're never called a nation before this exact sentence. So in the same breath that they leave the descriptive nature of a family and become a people, from the second they become a people, anti-Semitism is born. That should tell you a great deal about the truth of what anti-Semitism is, its purpose, its nature, and maybe tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about that idea. However, for today, I want to delve into something that I think is beautiful. It is instructive. It is special to observe. So Paro's plan is to do what? To outsmart the Jews. How's he going to outsmart them? What is his outsmarting plan? Anyone know? Make them slaves. That doesn't sound like a particularly, devious or intelligent outsmarting plan. But actually, what was this plan? Al-Chachamim tell us that they told everyone in Egypt, hear ye, minar v'ad zaken, young and old, men and women, everybody, rich, poor, noble, and serf. Everyone is coming together to build up Egypt. We're going to build storehouses. We're going to make Egypt great again. And in that moment, everybody was part of this nationalist fervor. And no one could say it's not for me to do this. It's not below my station. I don't do this. I'm going to break my nail. What do they say? Everybody says, I have a part in this. So who turns up on day one of the work? Everyone, including Pharaoh with a golden shovel, okay? Everyone's there. The Jews see everybody's there. What do they say? We got to be there too. We're not, no one should think badly of us. No one should have an excuse for the anti-Semitism. We got to be there too. So what happens, my friends, in this epic saga, in this epic story? To me, this is unbelievable. What happens in this epic saga? The Jews come, then the next day, or slowly, Paro and the noblemen recede, but all the other Egyptians are there. The Jews keep coming, and then all the Egyptians slowly back away. But you know what they had told the people in the beginning? They told them that they were going to pay them for the work. So every day, the Jewish people would come to the royal treasurers, and they would say, today I made 150 bricks. Day 2, I made 152 bricks. Day 3, I made 151 bricks. So on and so forth and so on and so forth. Now, not only have the nobles slipped away, the Egyptians also slipped away. Under many different pretenses, I'm sure. I have a new job. I'm driving Uber chariot. I don't know what they said. Every day they had something. What are you doing today? We're shooting a video, a music video, walk like an Egyptian. We're all part of it, etc., etc. Until one day, there were no noblemen, there was no Pharaoh, there was no Pharaoh's magicians, there was no Egyptians. Who's left there? Jews. The treasurers still, though, paying them day by day by day, giving them money per brick. And finally the day comes, and the treasurers with the royal bank account, with the royal checks, with a big picture of a sphinx on it, are replaced with taskmasters. Sarei Misim. They took from them first this labor. Then they turned the labor into a tax. And they said to them, you guys need to keep coming to work. And how much do you need to produce? Well, we know how much you're capable of producing when you want to produce. Because look, 151, 152, 150, that means minimum 150 bricks you produce every day. Now you're going to produce it for free. Now you're going to produce it and we're not going to pay you. Now if you don't produce it, we're going to beat you or kill you. And the Jewish people, without even noticing, had turned themselves into the slaves and the workforce of the Egyptian people, of the Pharaoh. Is everyone on board? We all see what just happened? Now, there's a famous line that was then turned into a song. It's printed in white letters on the mirror of every car. It says, objects in the rear view mirror may be closer than they appear. Objects in the rear view mirror may be closer than they appear. There's a lot of times that things sneak up on you, and they sneak up on you a lot faster than you might have noticed. And you weren't prepared for them. What Pharaoh's wisdom was, you know what was outsmarting of Pharaoh's plan? Is that the achievement was something that if you would have come to the person in the beginning and said, I would like to suggest A, what would they have said? Go take a long walk off a short bridge. That's what they would have told him. If Pharaoh would have said to the Jews, listen guys, I have an idea. Why don't you guys become slaves to Egypt and we'll beat you if you don't produce. What do you guys think about that idea? Article A, subsection 2. What would they have said? No way. My friends, that is how slavery is enacted. You slowly but surely subjugate the person in a way where they didn't even realize what was taking place. That was the outsmarting of a Pharaoh. My friends, our rabbis tell us that the Yetzer Hara is called Melech Zaken Uksil. He's an old fool. Elsewhere he's also called an old wise king. That means that the Yetzer Hara, he's been in this business a very long time. Now, businesses have an idea called bait and switch. Now, bait and switch is not considered ethical, correct? It's not an ethical thing. You tell the guy you're going to sell them, AirPods for $1. And then the guy gets to the store and he's like, oh, where are the AirPods for $1? And the guy was saying, oh, did you think we were selling AirPods for $1? There was supposed to be a space in the ad between air and pods. You can buy air in our store or pods for $1. Guy pulls out a used coffee pod. What would you like to buy, the air or the pods? I didn't lie. It's called bait and switch. That's, again, it's a staple of unethical or immoral or underhanded business practice for many, many years. They lure you in with something, and then what do they give you? They give you something else. The Yetzer Hara, that is his most powerful tool and his most powerful weapon. To get you to do something that in a million years you never would have done. So what does he get you to do? He gets you to do step 1 out of 12 steps. And step 1 he can get you to do. That is the power, the outsmarting of Paro, and my friends, that is the greatest tool in the arsenal of the Yetzer Hara. If he said to you, listen, I want you to scream at your father and treat him with no respect. Who's going to do that? But you might tell your father, step 1, listen, Dad, I was thinking, you don't really need the apartment anymore. It's just you and Mom, or it's just you. Maybe, what do you think? What if we sold the apartment, use the income for something else? Maybe help the kids pay for schooling, help the You move in with us, we have an extra bedroom anyway. Step 1. Now the father's in the guy's house. First week, he treats him with the utmost respect. You see, Dad, isn't it better that you sold the house? That you moved in with us? Look, now you have meals, the kids always with. Step 3 is you stop treating him like a king. Listen, Dad, first week, 2, we wanted to extend ourselves extra, to be but if you're going to be part of this house, Dad, you need to help contribute to the house. Now, you see how it happens? Maybe, every day we're not going to, maybe one day a week you'll cook dinner. And slowly but surely, does your greatest pride become a burden? Become something that you can't wait? Yeah, I need to get rid of. You don't even say the words. But my friends, slowly but surely, the child starts becoming resentful. Look, I didn't sign up for this. It's very difficult. And then the father, now you're like, Dad, listen, how many times can I tell you? Do it like this, do it like that. I told you we were leaving. Now we're going to miss the chuppah. And what happened was we went in many small steps to a place we never would have gone. My friends, when a person is sinning, they are a slave. And let me explain what that means. An eved, a slave, what's the greatest tragedy of being a slave? Not the pain, the suffering, the hunger. You could be a free person and also be hungry. You could be a free person and someone could still beat you up. The side things of slavery are not the tragedy of slavery. The tragedy of slavery is that you can't act upon your own will. You don't have the freedom to do what you want to do, to make your own decisions, to chart your own life, to create your own destiny. Someone else is telling you, this is what you're doing today. This is where you're going today. Even if you think this, listen to what I want you to do. That's the greatest tragedy of slavery. My friends, listen to this. When a person sins, they're a slave. Why? Why? Because on a certain level, says the Gemara, En Adam Chote, a person will never do a sin. Ela imken nichnas bo ruach shetut, until a spirit of foolishness overcomes him. Let's imagine for a second, you were able to see God sitting there looking right at you. Imagine, you're about to break Shabbat. You're about to talk Lashon Hara about someone. And all of a sudden you could see Hashem just sitting there, looking you right in the eyes. Would you be able to do the sin? No. Right? Let's say you realized that every time I spoke Lashon Hara, there was a punishment that came along with it. And you knew that. You had that in front of you. That when I speak Lashon Hara, I could lose my whole portion, all my mitzvot could transfer to this other guy that I'm talking Lashon Hara about. Could you imagine all that hard work you're going to give away for one bit of Lashon Hara, juicy gossip you want to share with somebody? If you remembered that, is there a chance you would do the avon? There isn't one. So what happens? What happens to a guy sitting there at a gambling table? And the next bet is on a high roller, big table, $10,000. You know how long it took you? How long you had to work for that money? You had to go to the office. You look at someone that's throwing this money away, and you think to yourself, are you a Majnoon? Don't you remember all the mornings you had to wake up, go through the cold, sit there, deal with that annoying coworker, drives you crazy every day? You did all this work for that money. You're going to throw it away for this? Why is a gambler gamble? Because in the minute he's gambling, he's able to put a big blanket over everything else, all of the memories, all the hard work. And now what is he thinking of? The momentary pleasure of this sin. He's a slave to it. It's deciding what he's going to do. My friends, how long does it take to build up trust in a relationship, in a marriage? To build love, to build connection between yourself and your wife, between yourself and your child. How long does it take? How much effort did you put in to do beautiful things, acts of service, acts of sacrifice for your children? How many games? How many school plays? How many did you go to? All for love. And then in a split second, because you're angry, you took this person you love and you drive a knife in their heart. You make them feel stupid. You make them feel worthless. Because the anger, what did it do? In that minute, it became your king and you became its slave. But slavery doesn't happen in a moment. Because if the Yetzer Hara said to you, you see that kid that you love? Go make him feel like 2 cents. What are you going to say? Why would I do that? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. What does the Yetzer Hara do? He lets you get a little annoyed. He lets you be a little bit resentful. And a little bit resentful I could be. A little bit angry at my wife I could be. She made me late. You don't respect my time. So he puts it in the bank, and 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 then suddenly, where are you? Now you have no choice. Now you're in a place where you're a slave. My friends, one of the greatest lessons I ever learned was that it is much more important to look out for small sins than for big ones. Because the big ones, you have a defense mechanism. It's easy to see that they're wrong. It's easy to feel the need to do teshuvah from them. But the small sins, they stockpile without you noticing until eventually you sold the whole house, one little dollar at a time. My friends, I would not go stick my hand in a tzedakah box, steal the money from the poor. But when I don't give my maaser properly, isn't that what you're doing? When I'm not giving tzedakah, isn't that what you're doing? You have a responsibility. The Torah delineates what that responsibility is. There's no difference between not giving it and taking it. But who in their right mind would walk up to a guy sitting there at the front of the shul with $3, $4 single dollars in his hand, asking everyone, please help me, my wife, my children, my family, my house, my this, my that. You walk up, take the money right out of his hand, put it in your pocket and walk out. Who's going to do that? It's the same thing. That's how the Yetzer Hara gets us. Slowly but surely, without you noticing. My friends, so it turns out, what is one of the greatest weapons against the Yetzer Hara? Just noticing. Having a sense of your own temperature, of your own self-awareness. Don't ask yourself, why'd I lose my temper with my wife? Why'd I get angry at my kid? Ask yourself, why am I mildly annoyed? And I'll tell you one thing. That's a battle that's so much easier to win. You know why? Because it's only mild and it's only annoying. When you're furious, you're a slave. When you got to a point in Geneva where it's already part of the way you run your business, you're a slave. It's too hard to pull out now. That's what happened to the Jews. On the very first day, how'd the Yetzer Hara get them? Paro's here. Isn't that what the Yetzer Hara tells us? Look, even great people do this. Think about that. That's what we're learning here. Person says, I can't, this is not a big deal to do this avon. Look, I even see a rabbi does it. People say all the time, when I come late to shul, I'm walking in a minute late, 2 minutes late to the class, to this. You know what they'll say? Look, I guess I'm on time. I say, no, we're both late. Do you understand? You see a guy who says, Rabbi, that guy's religious. He's doing it. He's talking. He's chatting. This guy's not being honest. He's religious. That guy, I'm not pointing at anyone here, by the way. Right? That guy is this. This guy, I saw that guy eating in the non-kosher. It must be fine, to eat this salad or the sushi. If that, he was doing it with a kippah, no less. He was doing it with a kippah, no less. My friends, the first day, what's the Yetzer Hara? What does he get you on? Look, even the great people are here. The next day, you know what he says? Well, the great people are gone, so maybe I shouldn't be here. But you know what you say? Then he tells you second day. Day 2, he says, it's true the great people are not here, but I'm not a great person. I'm just a regular eye gay. Just a regular guy. Look, all the regular Egyptians are here. And that's who I am. I'm regular. The second trick of the Yetzer Hara is, you're not special. I know who you are. You know who you are. You're a nobody. Look, all the nobodies are here. So I'm here with them. Day 3, the Egyptians leave. What does the Yetzer Hara tell you? Day 3, he says, the Paro's not here. Egyptians are, I shouldn't be here. Yeah, but you know what? All the Jews are here. This is anti-Semitism now. Look, we're being singled out. I feel like now's a time, I guess it's a time of Gezerah in Shamayim. The guy starts making up excuses already now. Right? Maybe now, the reason why we have to do this, listen, it's true, I'm not being so honest, but that's part of Galut. I had someone say that to me once. Do you know why I'm being dishonest in my business? Rabbi, we're in Galut. We're in survival mode. I was like, why do you think we're in Galut, in survival mode? Day 4, now, not only are they not there, and them not there, and your anti-Semitism's down the tubes, the last thing he tells you is, now, you're mine. Now you're doing it, and you're getting nothing. People don't believe that this stage ever comes. But ask any alcoholic who in the beginning turns to alcohol to feel better. And in day 1, he feels better. He masks his pain with the drugs or the alcohol or the gambling or whatever else he's using for his addiction. Day 1, it works. How many days later where he drinks and he doesn't feel good? He feels terrible. He's gambling. He doesn't feel high. He feels low. But at this point, he's already a slave and it's too late. You're doing an Averah and you don't even feel good about it. En adam chote ella imken Nichnas bo ruach shetut. A person doesn't sin unless they're a fool, unless there's a little bit, a sense, an element of craziness, of foolishness in you. And you know what the foolishness is? The foolishness is, I'll end with this. It's an old joke, but it's one of those tragic comedies. Two guys are sitting together, the news comes on, and there's a guy at the top of the building. And the first guy looks at the other, and he says, oh my gosh, I think he's gonna jump. And the videos and the guys, people like, don't jump, don't jump. Anyway, because they're two mamzerim, these two guys, the guy turns to the other, he says, FanDuel, let's go. Let's bet, I'll bet you $100, I bet you the guy jumps. The guy says, nah, they wouldn't show it on TV if the guy's jumping. $100, I'll take that bet. 10 seconds later, guy jumps. Guy says, oh, okay, you win, $100. My friends, the guy says, listen, I don't want to take your money. The truth is, he says, I already saw it an hour ago on the 5 o'clock news. Other guy says, I saw it too, I just didn't think he would jump again. My friends, old joke, tragic comedy. Can I tell you why it's tragic comedy? Because all of us are the guy in that joke. You saw it happen. You saw how this works. You saw the Yetzer Hara's trick. You know his signature move. Why are you falling for it again? A guy fakes right in basketball, goes left. He fools you once. Fool me once, shame on me. Right? Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If every time you fake right and go left, every time, so wouldn't it make sense to defend left? That's what en adam chote. How many times? It's always the same move. A little bit more, until you're too far in. So you know what? Start noticing that first move. And if you do, you get to stop the Yetzer Hara in its tracks. That's the Hava Nitcha Kemalo. May God bless us to have that awareness. Baruch Hanei Le'olam. Amen.